Guys, the day can't go by without more Pixel 8, or in this case Pixel 8 and Pixel Watch 2 leaks. I'm going to be reading here first off from 9 to 5 Google, but this stuff did originate on 91 Mobile, so I'll drop a link in the description down below. Let's talk about a couple of new tidbits about the Pixel 8 that are now coming to the surface. The biggest one here to me, this is absolutely wild. We've talked about some other stuff. We talked about the fact that the 8 is going to have a brighter screen than before, but apparently we did not know the full extent. We knew what the nits were, but not the peak nits where it could boost to if it were to be in direct sunlight. The Pixel 7 Pro could boost up to 1500 nits. Well, what about the Pixel 8 Pro? If this is true, 2400 nits of peak brightness in direct sunlight. That would be absolutely phenomenal and would put it at the top tier of phones to use outside. Now, one thing immediately comes to mind. My Pixel Fold has a pretty solid peak brightness as well, but it cannot maintain that peak brightness for very long because it maybe thinks it's getting too warm, whatever it might be. It hits that peak, you get about a minute, then it drops back down to its normal brightness, which in this case would be 1600 nits on the Pro model, which still isn't terrible. But how long can you stay at 24? That remains to be seen. If it's for like a decent amount of time, that's going to be absolutely insane. The Pixel 8, you're at 1400 nits and then a boost to 2000 nits, which is still nothing to turn your nose up to. These are big improvements in terms of brightness usability outdoors. And you can see this information is coming from very official looking imagery that is being leaked. Something else I didn't mention in a prior video, the Pixel 8 Standard is going to be getting that macro mode with the ultra wide camera, so that is a great thing to see as well. I do also want to show you sort of an update to a video from the other day where we talked about the leaked prices that were alongside the stuff that we're talking about. 9 to 5 Google says that their retail sources are telling them to expect a $100 price increase across the board. So Pixel 8 $699, Pixel 8 Pro $999. This conflicts with that earlier imagery, which stated $699, so a $100 increase for the 8, but the same price for the 8 Pro. And if you actually look into these sources who's talking about these things, it appears as though the timing of these are relatively close. So what is going on here? It's really difficult to say. It's possible that the price was going to be what 9 to 5 Google is reporting, $999 and $699, but perhaps when the iPhone, which was rumored to have price increases of their own, didn't do that, maybe Google decided against raising the price of the 8 Pro. It's really hard to say. Don't really know where to kind of hang your hat at this exact moment. I would say that $699 for the Pixel 8 is pretty much set in stone. What the Pro is going to be, maybe it's $899, maybe it's $999. It's going to be one of those two. So just keep that in mind as you're going forward. And the last thing we got to talk about here is a full promotional video that has been leaked of the Pixel Watch 2. What we're going to do is kind of play this video through. I'm going to frame by frame, just like I did the other day. We're going to point out some interesting details as we go through it. So the first thing here is that you have the Pixel Watch 2. It looks very similar to the Pixel Watch 1. We've seen images. It looks like the crown over here is a little bit different. Otherwise, it looks very much like the same watch that we have had for the last year. They are definitely touting some improved sensors in regard to this device, and these sensors are coming from, I believe, another Fitbit device. You can see a few things on there. SPO2, water resistance 50 meters. And of course, it flips around at that point, and it talks about temperature tracking. Now, of course, skin temperature tracking is something that might not work in every country. You can see down there. And of course, that's been true of temperature tracking on some other watches. They also spend a little bit of time here on stress tracking, which is something I've never really used on a watch before, but they really seem to be leaning into it, tracking your stress and then doing breathing exercises with the watch. Apparently, it's going to be able to now automatically recognize up to 7 different exercises like biking, running, different workouts are going to be automatically recognized now, which is going to be a big improvement because I have to always tell it I'm about to go for a walk. It'd be nice if you just go for a walk and then it's like, oh, you went for a walk, and it's tracked it automatically for you, because sometimes you forget to tell it you're going for a walk and then you don't get all of the data tracked. I do also like this next feature here, using the Google Assistant to access your workout data. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to use that, but that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do as well. I love building in more of those Google Assistant features and building in more of the personal safety features as well, like Safety Check. Basically, you can run that safety check, and if they don't check in that amount of time to tell you, I'm okay, you're going to get a notification, and you can then take action on whatever might be going on. Of course, they've also got their sleep tracking, which they are saying has improved in some way. I already find it to be pretty solid sleep tracking. I use it every night, and it does as good a job as any other watch that I've used. They also now talk about the maximum battery life, which is not something that I'm super impressed by, but I can't say that it's something I'm really surprised by either. They basically say full 24 hours of use. Now, apparently this is with always on display turned on, so maybe that's a little bit better. I don't use the AOD, so maybe that means you're going to get a little bit more. On my Pixel Watch, I tend to get close to 36 hours on a single charge. So what does that mean for the Pixel Watch 2? Don't know exactly, because if I used AOD, I'm definitely not getting 36 hours. So maybe with AOD off, maybe I'm getting close to 2 days at that point. Apparently, it's also going to take 75 minutes to go to a full charge, which is not really an improvement over the original Pixel Watch, which took 80 minutes to fully charge. So in terms of battery life, maybe just expect original Pixel Watch kind of performance, maybe slightly better, but nothing too substantial there, guys. That is the Pixel Watch 2. It looks like a decent upgrade, nothing life-changing, although we do have that brand new processor going from that ancient Exynos to the brand new W5. That should alone make the thing feel a little bit smoother. So all in all, it should be a pretty decent upgrade on both devices. The last thing that I want to touch on is the fact that just like last year, when you purchase the Pixel 8 Pro, you should be getting the Pixel Watch 2 as a pack-in. So that might help kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. You can buy that Pixel 8 Pro for either $899 or $999 and get that watch and be kind of all in on the Google ecosystem at that point, at least in terms of wearables and your phone. Probably some earbuds or something like that to go with it as well. But anyways, should kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. I'm going to drop the sources of these things in the description down below if you're going to go check them out yourselves. I'm sure there are some details that I am kind of skipping over in the interest of brevity and not just oversaturating on Pixel rumors and so forth any more than we already have to this point. Guys, subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.